If you love hosting over the holidays, swap out your old HVAC filter with a Filtrete air filter. It can help clear away particles from all your holiday cooking. Look for Filtrete air filters at a retailer near you. Let's clear the air.
What is going on? You are listening and watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live version. I'm your host, Steve V, and this is episode 313 alongside in Jersey, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell are you?
Hello, darling. I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good over here. I missed you because last week you were in the same room with me. You might have to come back next week because we've got our sponsored liquor, Fourth and Pride, giving us some free vodka, and we're going to have him on the show.
All you had to say was vodka, and I was there.
Keyword vodka. Exactly. Well, cheers to that. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I wanted to make a quick announcement. I've talked a little bit about it, but we've got some Tags merch, and it's out now. I'm wearing one of them right now. You can see it's in the baby blue, which is really cool. I've got versions of them. And right now, November 3rd through the 6th, there's 35% off all of our products from now, the 3rd to the 6th. So now's when you want to take advantage of it. So like a $20 tank will be like $13.
Oh,
it's
so
really great.
That's not anything.
And
I gotta go get mine right now.
They turn them around really quickly, and it's just a great way to show your support for tags. And they come in the white, the blue, the purple. So take advantage of that right now. If you go to our Instagram at TAGSPodcast, in our bio is a link right to the store, and you can go right from there, or you can just go to TAGSPodcast.com and click Tags Merch. But 35% off right now. Get it? Well, it's hot. Yes. All right. We've got a great show for you on this Wednesday night. And, our first round of topics are all related to school news, as I'm liking to call it, right? School news. Yeah, we're going back to high school and grade school here. I promise they all have to. I promise they somehow have to do with our sexuality. And would you know it? In Kentucky, there's this Kentucky high school principal who seems to be
to start.
Under investigation after receiving a lap dance from a male student during a homecoming rally. That's right. People are naturally or unnaturally, I don't know, freaking out over these photos. I will post these on Tags Podcast because there was a male student in drag performing in a man pageant, one of Kentucky high school's homecoming activities. Maybe they didn't think it would be an issue, according to Straight Up Gay Porn. They're clearly all laughing in the photos, including the principal, because this was a comedy routine, and obviously no one had any intention of sexual motivation here. It's just a bunch of straight guys screwing around. But it has totally come under investigation. Hazard Independent Superintendent Sandra Combs confirmed that she was investigating social media photos of homecoming activities at Hazard High School that shoved scantily clad male teenager giving a lap dance to staff. And like I said, including the principal. So I don't know. I mean, crazy. I had a couple of thoughts on it, first of all, Kodi, because when I was in high school, first of all, the kids these days are just on the accelerated course to sexuality, in my mind. I was actually in my junior and senior year of homecoming performing because I was a gymnast, right? And I danced. And so the year just shows you how old I am, was Dirty Dancing. So I guess back then, even Dirty Dancing, the movie was out back then. Patrick Swayze was the lead, of course. And we reenacted really well, I might add, with proper choreography. We met weekend after weekend to get this choreography down, including the lift.
Oh, you got
including
get
the
lifted?
lift. Yeah, no, I did it. I was a lifter.
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was a brown Patrick Swayze.
Oh, okay. I love
Yeah.
that.
And we added to we did that. Remember that shuffle that they do anyway, they do this whole
Yeah.
dance. And that was probably, I mean, the movie was called Dirty Dancing. And I did a partner routine with the girl, my friend at the time. And that was as dirty as it got. I do remember my math teacher who I had a crush on, who I later told on this show that I went on a date with when I was in college because he turned out to be gay. He caught my attention in another homecoming routine where he was a surfer and he was in these shorts. And I had never seen my math teacher like in short shorts and on a surfboard. And I was so like turned on back then. That's about as crazy as it shorts got. Well, I mean, he was really cute. He was really cute.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think they went too far, or is this just a much ado about nothing?
No, I incredibly suspect, because even they didn't mean anything by it. They're still teaching the children that this is how you gain attention, or this is how you win in life, by using sexuality as a means to gain. And I don't think that's a good lesson for them to be learning in school. You learn that in life and in the real world.
In other words, they'll learn. But you know what? We have to remember. So like when I was doing mine, it's not like we had social media or any of this stuff. No phones, no nothing. These kids are living on their phones. I was like class of 89. I mean, come on. I was like 85 freshman year, the 80s.
Yeah. Big hair and mom.
Big hair. I even had big hair. Yeah. But I'm just saying, these kids live on social media where they're bombarded by sexuality. They're growing up a lot quicker. Where I do think it went wrong is they probably should have rules in their future homecomings where it's not okay to interact with staff and teachers and principals. Like that's a big no, and you will be reprimanded or like cause for a write-up of some sort if you do that, because you put like this principal is being investigated. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just standing there. What's he gonna do?
Steve, he's still advising the kids.
You're saying because he's playing along with it?
Yeah.
He didn't instigate this.
This has been in the story that this is like not the first year that this has happened. This has happened previous years, so he knew what was going on.
Well,
yeah,
go ahead.
He knew what was going to be happening. He's parcel and teaching them about sex way too in school, and they're not be sex kids.
Well, I think the kids initiated it, and if it's true what you're saying that they did it in the past, that then shame on the school for not putting rules in place. Like, listen, or maybe you need to run by what you're going to do by somebody that's in a position to monitor what's going to be. Yeah, and especially the thing is, there's all these pictures, right? And social media posts. Again, with our Dirty Dancing little number in 1989, no one, I mean, even if we did take pictures, it was going to take another 2 weeks to develop them to even get them out. You know what I'm saying? To get them back. And at that point, we would have already graduated to even see the damage that we did.
That's hilarious.
We would have already been creating new crimes in college.
Can I tell you, when I was a kid, I was like, this dancing isn't that dirty in Dirty Dancing. I wonder why it's named this.
That's the thing. I know. That's what I'm saying. The kids are now accelerated. What are people saying, Kodi?
The school districts are crazy homophobic. Some states are it's to be fired if you are suspected to be LGBT, which is very sad, and they should like do something about that immediately. And
we're getting to go read it.
He goes, explain what exactly is developing pictures. He wants you to explain what developing pictures
Teddy,
is.
Look it up. I have a feeling you might know what I'm talking about once you do a little
knows
Google,
already.
the shade of it all. Mm-hmm.
It's directed at you this week, but I have a feeling it's going to be coming at me in just a few minutes. So
yeah,
we'll
don't
see
you
what
worry.
happens.
Moving on. We've got these like trilogy or quadruple stories here. Then moving on with our school-themed stories, there's a Florida school board member who's been slammed for taking elementary kids to a gay bar and grill. Of course, it happens to be in Florida. A school board member in Florida says she has received death threats after posting on social media about taking a group of elementary kids on a field trip to a beloved local gay bar and grill. Broward County School Board member Sarah Lenardi accompanied the children to Rosie's Bar and Grill in the infamous, I added that, Wilton Manors. The establishment is well known in the area and attracts a wide cross-section of locals, including those with kids. After the trip on Wednesday, Leonardi posted about it on her Twitter and Facebook. Quote, I was so honored to be invited to chaperone at Wilton Manors, the place, field trip to the incredible Rosie's. The students and I had a fun walk over and learned a lot about our community. A huge thank you to Rosie's Bar and Grill for hosting this special field trip every year. Well, she got so many comments and not all of them good. The majority are from people outraged at the idea of a school arranging a field trip to an gay-friendly restaurant. And some picked up on the fact that the menu for adults offers such dishes as Rhoda Cowboy and Ivana Hooker burgers. Of course, the kids were not shown that, having their own age-appropriate menu instead. The field trip has taken place for around the last 10 years. And Kodi, I ask you, what were your thoughts? I mean, did we lose Kodi here as I was reading the story? I think that it's really, I'll just go on with this. He should be back in a second as we lost our Kodi. I have to say that it seems so innocent. It's been going on for the last 10 years. If anyone knows Fort Lauderdale, they know that it's particularly in Broward County, where they're talking about in Wilton Manors. It's a gay neighborhood, which probably also has elementary schools within it. And what an amazing thing this would be. I just wish I had this as a kid. Again, I would have been in the early 80s, 70s going to school. We did not go to our local gay and bar in Fremont, California. I can definitely tell you that. And so I just think that this was such a great example to teach kids. It sounds like it's a yearly field trip. And these kids are going to be so far along and so far progressive by going to this and probably learning about the community. Kodi, I was just talking about the story. I know we lost you for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts about this story when you heard about this field trip? And didn't you think it was, what did you think?
I thought it was, people were out of bounds with this. I think that they were getting crazy, ridiculous, and I think these are in danger going to a Catholic.
That's so true.
Or in school in Kentucky, apparently. It's
right.
It's just ridiculous.
Didn't you feel? I was saying, I was saying, I wish that in my small town we would have and positivity towards a community like the LGBTQ community. We didn't, of course. And I think it would have changed. We're all developing at that early age. And it kind of sounds like if this has been going on for 10 years, and if you are raising kids if you're straight parents, gay parents, whatever you are, if you're in Broward County in Wilton Manor, you get the point that you are in a LGBTQ neighborhood. So you're probably signing that waiver form like, of course, I want my kids to be progressive. The backlash only occurred when she went on social media, of course, and then everybody hated on her. But I think it's wonderful that it happens in your community. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine like here in New York, if you grew up or went to school in Harlem, you'd want to know the history of Harlem and the incredible things that have occurred in the Black community that are monumental. Or Stonewall. If you went into the West Village, you'd want to know. I would want my kids to know about that. Chances are, if you live and raise kids in those neighborhoods, you're all about it, is what I think.
I agree. So
yeah,
I think that people are over exaggerating. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Got it. All right. Well, moving on. There's a mom who's been banned at Orange Elementary School for volunteering. She just wants to volunteer, y'all, after anonymous letter revealed she has an OnlyFans page. So essentially, I'll just summarize this one because we got to keep moving. But this woman who's only 30 years old essentially has a kid at this elementary school and she just wants to volunteer. She's been volunteering for years. And another parent found that she has an OnlyFans account and told others, like, how did they find that out? Right?
That's what my mom said.
Outed her. And so now she's being banned from volunteering ever again. What a crock of shit. Like, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, it's not like she's bringing her. We have another story coming up in a minute, but related to Halloween. What she does on her private time has nothing to do with how she raises her kids.
Exactly.
And I think it's a dicey corner when you start parsing out what people do for work. What's it going to come to? Oh, I don't like that you work for a conservative organization, or I don't like that you work for a liberal organization, so therefore you can't volunteer. OnlyFans is totally legal and totally fine. What are your thoughts, Kodi?
So it's funny. I got some insight from an actual parent, my mom. I asked her about, so it was pretty
good. I want to hear. Okay,
it's
good.
So good. Yeah. We had a long discussion about what OnlyFans was. She thought it was a fan store at first.
I love that.
But our opinions really align as far as what this topic is concerned. We are both of the thought that this woman should not be persecuted because of her job. She's doing something to feed her kids and to better her kids. And she's not exposing her kids. She's not handing out pamphlets of her OnlyFans. Like, go to this site, kid. She's not doing that. She's just
promoting
going there and
porn or anything like that.
Exactly. She's doing that in the privacy of her own home. She's doing it to make a living. And Kim Kardashian did it. So why can't this lady do it?
Okay. Yeah. Right. And you know, if Kim tried to volunteer, they'd be rolling out the red carpet for her.
Amen.
And not bringing up that sex tape.
I mean, if I saw her, I probably would, but
but that is a good analogy because how many kids does Kim K have? And they rolled out the red carpet for her to host SNL, America's like beloved comedy show that's been on for like eons. And this woman is just trying to raise her kid, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I couldn't with that. Okay, and lastly, in our school newsletter here for you, there is a high school senior who was just crowned Missouri's first male homecoming queen. All right. Yeah, a high school student in Columbia, Missouri has just made history by becoming the first ever male student to win the title of homecoming queen in his state. And reports that Zachary Wilmore, a senior at Rockbridge High School, won the distinction in part because he chose to run for queen rather than king. Early in October, he posted a poll to his Instagram page asking followers to vote as to whether he should seek the title of king or queen. Quote, I took a really quick Instagram poll, Wilmore told the news. They thought queen would look prettier on the sash. I was like, you're so correct. So I chose queen. They go on. I will post this because the video of him getting the win, he's also on the cheerleader squad. And when he won at the homecoming game, he's complete in a gold lame shimmery dress. And when they crown him, his fellow female cheerleaders were screaming at the top of their lungs. It actually made me kind of emotional and just like, wow, that is so brilliant. That, I mean, talk about acceptance. And what were your thoughts when you saw that? I loved it. I thought, yes, queen. He is ready for yes, queen.
Yeah. Yes. I
What were your
agree
thoughts?
with you 100%. I thought it was so wholesome, and because it just shows and exemplifies how this young person has the support of his entire community around him and all of his peers. And I know that he's going to go on. They're going to go on to do great things because they have that support, and they're already doing great things within their community, within their school, as far as educating people that aren't as knowledgeable as they are about gender neutrality and gender expression and things of that nature. So I just am so happy. It fills me up with so much joy. Every ounce of my being is filled with joy. So I love this story.
Yeah. And, we're going to talk in a minute on our Vulnerable Voices about masculinity and what it means, and heroic masculinity, which is an actual term now.
What?
And I want to put it out there that it takes a lot of courage and heroism to put yourself out there in a contest that traditionally is only for girls.
Yeah.
And to do it and then be backed by your fellow classmates and win is total heroic masculinity in my mind. And you'll understand what we're talking about in a minute. What are the people saying before we move on? We can answer a few.
Teddy was asking, did they ban the OnlyFans user as well as the mom?
No, they didn't have that authority to do that. There was nothing wrong with what the 30-year-old mom was doing. No word on what content. I think she was abiding by all OnlyFans rules, so nothing on that. It was simply
she could be showing her feet. I want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you should do that. Yeah. There's a whole yeah. I mean, and even if she was doing more sexualized things, we just reported on OnlyFans, like they've expanded back to sexual content.
Yes.
So she definitely didn't. They are not weighing in on what she's doing, volunteering, and they don't care. I thought I read something else about volunteering. What he said, the privilege to
yes.
He said the privilege to ban volunteers. I know, that's good point, Teddy. Yeah. Exactly, right? You're going to ban a volunteer, a free working who wants to offer their time because you don't agree with something they do on their off time. That is, by the way, legal. She's not cooking up drugs in her trailer. Well, I'm just saying, it's not like she's doing anything
bad.
She's not doing she's not doing anything illegal. So come on now. Anyways, we've got to move on to this week's Vulnerable Voices, where we get a little bit deeper. And on this one, we're calling it Toxic Masculinity, or Is Masculinity Under Attack? And, this all came up. I was telling you a little bit offline that this all came up because I was watching, there was an article with the Congressman Josh Hawley that we're going to read a few things in a minute. And then there was, there was also, here we go. Bill Maher, if you ever watch Bill Maher, I was watching it, and there was a woman on there by the name of Caitlin Flanagan. She's a staff writer at The Atlantic. I have my notes here. I'm going to read you just a little bit on how this came up.
Okay.
Bill Maher really got down to basics last Friday with a really interesting chit chat about toxic masculinity. And there's enough things here. Atlantic writer Caitlin Flanagan squared off against Delaware Senator Chris Coons with an assist from Bill Maher. Caitlin railed on what she says is misdirected and dangerous wokeness, somehow turning heroic masculinity into a dirty phrase. She thinks it's critical to teach boys the virtues of men who do heroic things. And she says it's important to distinguish men from women because the former are simply stronger, better suited to save the day when physical strength is the operative factor. Kuhn tried to,
Can you hear an eye roll? I don't know if you can hear an eye roll.
Well, let me tell you, because I actually watched this whole. So I typically every Friday watch, or when I can, I watch Bill Maher. And when this portion of the piece came on, I was screaming at the TV.
Good for you.
So she wrote a recent article about heroic masculinity, and she ascended to say that this has been, many parents are concerned about this, that essentially the idea, she's fighting the idea of toxic masculinity and instead thinks there should be something called heroic masculinity. Boys are castigated for being boys, she says. And then this is where she lost me. She said, we get it. We're way ahead on trans issues. She's also quoted as saying, it's great to be gay. And she said it in that term, as if gay men cannot have heroic masculinity, right? She says things like, boys just want to run fast, kick things, boys like stories about heroes. They like saving the day. They want to play video games where they can be the hero. Not the video games that I see that are circulating the rounds these days. I don't know what she's talking about. She's lastly said that I wrote, it's sick and poisonous that the idea that boys are bad and that they have to be watched by women and restrained. And she said, if you want to make toxic masculinity, you will continue to push boys down so that poor boys don't have anywhere to go. And I just want to say that I 100% disagree with everything she's saying. I mean,
fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, masculine. Yeah. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
She's crazy. Where I don't even know where to start, first and foremost. Where did the term heroic masculinity even come from? That sounds up to make herself feel better, to make her monster children feel better, because she probably is if she has kids, she's raising little monsters is what's going on. They're going to be hellions. They're going to hate women. I think let
me just, because there's a thing right now, and I want to hear what you have to say. There's a thing right now where people are confusing parts of America are not liking the term toxic masculinity, and they think it's shunning boys from being boys, and things like non-binary and things like having, embracing your sexuality like we do on the show is somehow thwarting any sense of boys being boys. Senator Josh Hawley delivered a speech the other day on the future of the American man at the National Conservatives Conference in Orlando, calling for a return to traditional gender roles. He said liberals attempt to give a world beyond men and it's part of their larger effort to deconstruct America and endeavor that, according to the senator, this includes critical race theory, economic socialism, and doing away with the concept of gender altogether. The left, he says, want to define traditional masculinity as toxic. They want to define the traditional masculine virtues, things like courage and independence and assertiveness, as a danger to society. Hawley called for conservatives to fight the attack on men and push for a revival of strong and healthy manhood in America. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of this, and what I think when we talk about things like you just use proper pronouns, they, them, and when we make space for non-binary people, and when we make space, and keywords, make space for the transgender community, for the gay world, we are not. No, I've never heard anybody in our community say, and no, do we not want straight boys or boys to not be boys. We're simply making space. And I feel when we make space, we are threatening an age-old group of white masculinity that is saying they essentially are feeling threatened, in my mind. And when when you feel threatened, that is when you have to say things like, we're attacking you, boys can't be boys anymore. Parents are saying things like, I don't know how to raise my boys anymore because there's no room for them anymore. It's like, no one ever said that. We simply said we're actually making space for everybody to feel welcome. Yes. And this woman goes on a whole rampage that men are quite superior in terms of, like, she didn't use the word superior, but she said in terms of strength, she would want Nancy Pelosi, for example, she said, yes, is a strong woman, but she doesn't want Nancy Pelosi to save her out of a burning building because she doesn't have the strength that a man does. Okay. And I'm sorry, there are plenty of female firefighters that could save her, and they might just look at her next time. And there are plenty.
Let that bitch burn up.
And I was really offended when she said, it's great to be gay or trans. Do you know how strong so many, I mean, I can't tell you how many times out of all my group, they look to me, the gay man, to lift up the heavy box, to, whatever, to use my natural strength because I work out a lot. And so I think it's so simplistic and so when you use words like, it's just threatening language that they are threatened by.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I really, really agree with what you said about we're not trying to not make space for them. Does that make sense?
Right.
That makes sense. What they are in turn trying to do is not make space for us. And I mean us as far as like trans people, non-binary people, gay people of all creeds and colors and everything. So I think that what has happened is trans and non-binary people have been around since forever. They've been here for a long time. And I don't know if they're willing to acknowledge that, but it's the truth. I think that toxic masculinity has kept down a lot of trans people and a lot of non-binary people that has kept them from fully expressing themselves. And that is where all the psychological issues come from. Toxic masculinity, in my opinion, leads to psychological damage, basically. So
her argument is so simplistic. I think no one's saying that we don't want boys to be boys. There was I was watching a piece on a stylist the other day who's in the current Out 100. Maybe you know him, Kodi. Stylist La Roche. Do you know La Roche?
Oh, I love La Roche. Yes.
He styled Simone.
He's crazy though.
Oh, he might be, but listen,
but I love him, but he's crazy.
La Roche was in an interview the other day, and he was talking just about how he was styling Simone and he's getting all his roses and accolades right now. And he said, the interviewer asked him, well, how were you raised? And he said, you know what? I had a black mom that raised me that it was okay to play with Barbies. That's amazing. So I think most boys I was shoved Tonka trucks and guns as a little boy. And if my father even caught me at the time when I was growing up playing with Barbies, I would have been whooped like there's no tomorrow.
Oh my God, so I don't. The room, she will tell you.
Thank you. And so where is this idea that we're shunning boys from being boys? If anything, you're just threatened because we're making space and leveling the playing field a little bit more to be a little bit more representative to all people. Boys can still be boys. And by the way, there are heroic, masculine, LGBTQ plus people in this planet all the time. Did you not watch the Olympics? And it seemed like an LGBTQ fest Olympics. Was I watching the gay games or no? And can you
I need an invite.
Can you, writer from the Atlantic, do anything that those LGBTQ people do? What? Yeah, I thought not. No, you can't. And so shut the fuck up. Like, exactly. No one's saying that boys, there are women out there. No one is saying boys can't be boys, but toxic masculinity is a thing. And why she fails to say, and many of the people that make these arguments fail to overlook the innumerable tragedies that happen on a daily basis to our trans community of deaths and beatings and left and right, that nobody even talks about that. You see things on the news all the time about white people that are getting beaten down and looking for them. We never talk about the trans people that just go overlooked. And so there is a thing about toxic masculinity, but raising boys also to be good citizens and to be respectful and to have those are like, there's qualities that actually make men and
Amen.
make them heroic. Yeah,
that's right. There's more than one way to express masculinity. That's my final thought, and we should embrace all of them.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tags listeners, craving for more tags? Hungry like I am? Well, now you can unlock exclusive Tags content. I'm talking about our weekly Tags After Show and our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show. Now you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. You'll get a notice each week when new episodes are dropped exclusively for you. So what are you getting from this exclusive content? Well, you're getting a weekly Tags After Show where the conversation continues with hot gay sex topics in a more relaxed, behind-the-scenes, more intimate format. Our twice monthly Dark and Dirty Show will often feature special guests like my co-hosts, but gets a little darker and a little dirtier as we reveal our sexcapades to your exclusive ears. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now to unlock exclusive Tags content and know that you'll be supporting Tags Podcast to continue delivering the quality of Tags Podcast you've come to love. You can unlock this exclusive content by going to TAGSPodcast.com and click on the link Tags After Show. Thanks for being a supporter and continue having hot gay sex.
And on that lines, just to move on with that, there's DC Comics artists are receiving threats from biphobic nerds. Can you believe this? Speaking of, so this is exactly what we are talking about, and that's why I wanted to roll right into this story. And The Advocate wrote this story, essentially. Imagine idolizing a character who represents, here we go, truth, justice, so much that you turn to issuing credible threats against their creators when you don't like a story arc. The irony is honestly too much to bear, but that's now the reality of a number of DC comic illustrators and staff who've received credible threats following the character John Kent. We talked about this, son of Clark Kent, coming out as bisexual in a recent issue of Superman, son of Kal-El.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right, Kodi?
You said it right. You got it.
Okay, good. So according to a report by TMZ, police were dispatched to patrol the employees' homes following the threats. And thankfully, none of the threats have resulted in actual violence.
Thank
the
goodness.
issue that sparked the backlash hit 3 weeks ago, and featured John, who has taken up his father's mantle of Superman, entering into a romantic relationship with and kissing his friend, a hacktivist reporter named Jay Nakamura. And at the time, the writer Tom Taylor shared his excitement of
Superman. So I did not know that was the name. I love that. I might have to start reading. Okay.
Writer Tom Taylor shared his excitement about creating a story that would offer queer fans Here we go. And I'm going to read this really slowly.
Okay.
Tom Taylor, the writer of this, shared his excitement about creating a story that would offer queer fans representation in the Superman story. Quote, I've always said everyone needs heroes and everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes. And I'm very grateful DC and Warner Brothers shares this idea. Can we just drop the mic on what we were just talking about
Done.
a second ago?
I'm going to go now, okay?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, here we are showing, so fuck off this writer from The Atlantic who says that the gays, oh, it's great to be gay, but we need heroic masculinity. Well, guess what, motherfucker? We actually can be hero masculines ourselves and create our own stories. And we often are. I cite, again, the Olympics that just occurred. And there's countless stories. So I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know where this is coming from. What were your thoughts? You're a superhero fan, about when you heard this backlash.
Well, at first I was like, comic book geeks are. I did not take the threat seriously. I was like, what are they gonna do?
Right.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, this is not okay. Why are people in such an uproar about people being representative? Bi people exist. Gay people exist. It's time for us to be seen and be represented in modern media and just everywhere. It's just crazy to me. I could not believe it.
Nuts.
All my geeks love me, okay?
It's here we are again, where I continuously say that we're at crossroads. And if you ever pull back and look at history, things just don't happen overnight. There's these fights that you see. There's things like what we're seeing about people don't like toxic masculinity. So what do they create? Heroic masculinity. What about the boys? What about our boys? And then you pull back on this time frame now. We're going to look back on it later. We have a boy who's yes, queen, homecoming queen. And then we have other stories where a woman, I mean, we are in crossroads with our sexuality. And when we pull back with the lens, we're going to see this all played out in history, hopefully, and it's going to skew in a direction, hopefully, as most history goes, in favor of acceptability and progress, as all history usually goes. And I just think it's fascinating to be in that turning point and kind of be aware of that sometimes, I think, because that's just kind of what's going on. And yeah.
Sometimes you have to take 2 steps forward and 1 step backward.
Yes, exactly. Well, all right. Thanks for playing on that. We've got one more story before we get to our favorite thirst trap segment. And this next story cracks me sort of like crazy. And then there's this. Okay. Listen up, y'all. There's a Utah. We are just going all over the states tonight.
I know, right? I was like,
we're in Missouri, Kentucky. I mean, where else were we? We were in a bunch of places. Now we're in Utah.
Florida.
Okay.
But Florida comes up every week.
And somewhere out, Florida's always in the news, I know. Utah sex offender arrested after opening the door to trick-or-treaters while naked and inviting them inside. I mean, this is just a convicted sex offender was arrested Saturday evening after police say he answered the door of his Provo home. I don't know what he meant. His home naked and invited trick-or-treating children inside. Steve Kelly Little, who's 48, was booked into the Utah County Jail for investigation of 5 counts of lewdness and 3 counts of lewdness involving a child. Police say he already was serving probation for lewdness involving a child. And when questioned about why he answered the door nude, he said he had just got out of the shower. It's kind of funny, actually. And that's why he was nude. And they said, why did you ask the kids inside? And he said, well, that's where the candy was. You can't make this shit up.
No. That's a no-go.
But again, hearkening back to our original story of what kids do today, social media, like in a million years, Kodi, would you ever think of grinding on your school principal?
Never.
When you were, I mean, right. Today, times are changed. When we went trick-or-treating, they said, beware of the razor blade and the apple. I mean, that was like the scariest thing that we were worried about. Not having a door opening and having some furry hanging balls of an and I saw the picture of this
now
guy.
I want that.
Who's nasty ass.
When I was a kid.
This guy's nasty ass. No, gross. In your face. What are you gonna dunk for those balls? I mean,
no. Oh my God, Steve. This story is horrible.
Maybe if we were adults, this might be a fun. There's a MMX, Male Massage Exchange. They did a fun adult
exactly, and
part,
there was consent.
No, and yes, it was all adult, and I thought that might be fun to attend something like that. But this was no. I can't.
This is a big no. I can't.
Hard no.
Why were those kids trick-or-treating by themselves in the first place?
Well, it took a parent to go. Well, you know how you send the kids off? We used to do that. When I was young.
Oh, it is Utah. That's right. Okay.
Well, there's that.
There it is.
And when I was young, we would go with my parents, and then I remember later on we were a little bit older, and we would go with like a group of friends. And so, yeah, one of the kids told their parents, and the father went with his daughter just to see. And they opened the door, and he was naked. And he said, "Put your clothes." He told his daughter to run away.
Multiple kids got to see
that furry, low-hanging sack.
Oh no!
That's scary enough for Halloween. That's scary.
If he was coming out of the shower after the first round of kids, he would have put a robe on.
Well, you know that. No, he was not coming out of the shower, and you know that was a made-up story.
I know, but I'm just saying, this man needs to go back to jail.
He's sadistic and crazy because he was already on probation, and now he's back in the slammer. It's this all there is to it. Oh my God. These stories are nuts, but kind of all thematic this week about school, right?
You did a good job tying them all together.
I loved it. Yeah,
it was good.
We almost talked about critical race theory too, but we didn't.
I would have
no time for that.
I was gonna pull that in a little bit on one of the other stories, but I was
we could have. I have notes here for you. We could have, but no time for that. It's time for our favorite segment. It's called Thirst Trap. And Straight Up Gay Porn does a good job of putting together. This week, there's a lot of them. I believe there are 24 gay porn stars, and they always ask the question, who took the best photo or video? We want you to weigh in as well. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com and let us know what you think. Kodi, who is your favorite? And tell us descriptively why.
Hold on one second. I think I got the wrong name.
Do you want me to go?
Go first, yes.
Okay. Well, you can imagine out of 24, but it only took me to number 3 to stop the clock for Alex_X. Alex_X. And my goodness, he is sitting with his legs spread open with a really cool cut off white tank. Legs spread open, his t-shirt's wet, and his dick goes all the way to his sternum. You know when it's wet and it's pressed up against him?
Yes.
And he has kind of this sexy, great goatee, beautiful skin, great tattoos, great legs and abs. He's kind of stunning and unassuming. And like I said, I always like to go because they do a really good job.
He looks
on
like
this.
me.
Did your mic cut out, Kodi? I thought you said something, but I think you cut out like before. Anyways, let me just go on with my description because we lost Kodi there for a second. Although I'm hearing a cackle somewhere in the background. And I guarantee it's not Alex_X. Alex_X is so delicious with that dick. He seems to have this blank look on his face all the time, but if you go to it, it says he's from Colombia, Bogota. Excuse me,
yes.
Colombia. Shout out to Colombians. And in each picture, it's dripping with cum. It's just the longest, thickest cock. I've seen him pounding in there. He's just got this really beautiful face that you can't tell what he's thinking, and that makes it all the better. So I kind of like that. I mean, for straight up fucking, I'm all for it. So
he's so cute.
Yeah,
he's really adorable.
And what were you saying?
I said, I think he looks like somebody I know.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right. So
unless it's him, I don't want to meet him.
Okay.
Teddy says, you knew I'd pick him? Oh my God.
Right?
Me? Wow. Oh, do I have a type?
I think you have a type.
Wow. Okay, that's
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I did have my name wrong. I had in there Colton Reese, but my vote goes to Cole Connor.
You and the Coles. Let me go.
I know, right? And it's a really simple bathroom selfie, but it's very effective, right? He's cleaned up the counter, and there are only 3 products on the counter. It could be if he was.
Are we talking about him or his cleaning regime?
No, just listen. Just listen to my description. It could be an ad if he wasn't completely nude in it, and he's got the full Monty just swinging in the wind, and it's just gorgeous. And he has the right amount of body hair, which gets my engines running, and for me, it's just his gorgeous smile that did it. And I know that sounds like I'm becoming a wholesome.
I just fell asleep a second. I'm sorry. Did you say something, Kodi?
I know it sounds like I'm becoming like the boy next door, or
well, let's not get crazy.
Leave It to Beaver's mother, or something like that.
Ain't nobody thinking. Oh, Cole Connor. Yes, he's got. He's got a grin for days. And
right,
beautiful blue eyes.
It's just gorgeous. He's gorgeous, and
I definitely lingered around his area for a second there. Yeah, I love the tattoos on the quads.
Oh yes,
and the body.
I remember this whole picture. I saved it. It's burned in my memory now because
it actually looks nice too. I know that might seem weird, but
see, I told you.
Like a night, like he'd fuck you hard, and then he'd like make you
cuddle you.
I don't know, make you a snack in bed.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. I get a sandwich afterwards. That's perfect.
You get a sandwich. Not no beans and rice though, girl. We're like, you lie.
I mean, hello, goodbye. I'm getting that tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Titi Delia's house. Okay.
Hey Craig, watching us. Thanks for joining the show. Who does Teddy like?
He likes Angel Rivera. We got to go take a peek at Angel Rivera.
Let's take a peek. Tell us while we look at Angel Rivera, what do you like about him, Kodi, before we get a little feedback? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. First of all, I love the haircut because I'm trying to grow my hair kind of like this.
Oh, he is so cute.
The parts, I've been trying to have my barber do 2 parts in my hair, and he only wants to do 1, but Angel got it. And what a beautiful, sexy body. And yeah.
I know what Teddy likes.
Okay, we know he got a type. Oh my God, this has been so much fun, Kodi.
So much fun.
Fiery too at times too.
I know, right? I had a panic attack when I went out.
I love it. Well, we want to thank you guys so much. This is always so much fun. We'll be here next Wednesday. I think I can get Kodi to come here.
I'll be there.
We'll be in the same box and having our 4th and Pride sponsored vodka. Join us for a cocktail. It'll be a lot of fun. Check out our merchandise. Again, you can go to @TAGSPodcast and click on the link in the bio. Right now, there's a sale for the next 3 days until November 6th. Get it while they're hot. You can always follow Kodi. He's got 2. He's a life coach. Follow him on social media at KMD Coaching or at Mr. Maurice. Thanks, Kodi. So much fun.
Thank you, darling. Always a good time.
All right. And in the meantime, continue having hot, gay sex.
Yes.
Yes.
With Early Paycheck, you can get your direct deposit up to 2 days earlier. That's another reason banking with Capital One is the easiest decision ever. Even easier than deciding to open the biggest birthday gift first.
Happy birthday to you.
Which one are you going to open first?
The pony!
Yep, even easier than that. Plus, with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is banking with Capital One even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. No fees or minimums on new consumer accounts. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
'Tis the season for those irresistible ginger thins, cozy blankets for cuddling by the fire, and making home warm and welcoming. For one-stop holiday shopping, visit your local IKEA or IKEA-USA.com/holiday.